Who can think of a more fitting way to cap off this 2018 NFL regular season than with another NFL Q&A video? Hooray! This will be even more fun once we get into the draft season here soon and I start doing these Q&As about the draft. Yeah, those are gonna come, you know that. New year, whole new Schleg Daddy. Until the next time I say it again. Anyways, thanks to all of you that asked your questions. I'm going to fire through them. Matt Holtman, my dude, kicks us off by asking, what were your views on Leonard Floyd in 2016 and his future with the Bears? Well, to the first part of that, were you asking my views on Leonard Floyd? You know this channel's been around a couple of years, right? And I've talked about the draft for a few years on here, right? Which means I probably talked about Leonard Floyd, right? Which means I had a first-round grade on Leonard Floyd, right? He hasn't exactly knocked it out of the park, but he hasn't been a total bust either. But what that indicates to me is that you have not went back and watched those videos from back then on this channel, which is a crime. Like using public servers or your own email servers to look at government emails. Your penance, your punishment, Matt, should have to be that you go on Twitter where I can see it and the whole world can see it, and you have to make one tweet praising Hillary Clinton, and you got to use as many of those motherfucking characters as possible. Not one of those 20 or 30 character jobs, like a full fucking tweet. That should be your penance and punishment. That should be penance or punishment for just about anybody. Ugh, couldn't imagine having to do that, but you should. You should have to do that. That's your penance. That's your punishment. It's terrible. His future with the Bears. I'm assuming they'll pick up the fifth-year option on him. I'm assuming. I would think. TIMW, can the Jaguars do a quick fix or do they need a total rebuild? This is a team that just went to the AFC Championship game last season. They don't need a total rebuild. They need a little bit of a retool, and they need to get rid of one tool at the quarterback position in Blake fucking Bortles. It just goes to show you, you can amass plenty of other talent, but if you don't get the quarterback position right, it doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter. Bags, Colts, and Packers fan. Can't be a fan of both teams. That's stupid. Don't give me that. One's AFC and one's NFC, so it's okay. No, it's not. No, it's not. Who are your top 5 Hall of Fame classes ever? Now, damn it all, stop asking these historical-based questions that make me have to think. I don't want to think right now, and I'm not going to. My favorite class of all time's got to be the 93 class. Why? Because Walter Payton went in that one. That's why. There. You got one out of it. It's good enough. Mike Schmidt. Can the Eagles do it again? If they get in, sure, why not? I wouldn't be rushing to put a ton of money out for doing that, but it's possible. Say, ask, if Phillip Rivers has a 10th kid, will you do a top 10 kids video? Like, we should do tribute videos to Phillip Rivers' sperm count. I mean, they are truly spectacular and magnificent. I mean, just truly stunningly magnificent. And there is a secret, deep down part of me, and I know I can't be the only one, that thinks it would be epically awesome someday in all the crap of reality TV world if we had a Phil and Jay show where it was literally Phillip Rivers sitting on his porch shotgunning beers with Smoke and Jay Cutler next to him as they watch their whole bastion of minions play in the fucking front yard of Phillip's mansion. That would be magnificent. Now that is must-see television, damn it. I don't know about a top 10 kids video because I don't know what their names, and I don't know that their names are important. What's more important here is Phillip Rivers' sperm count. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is magnificent. And that is what superstars do. That is what exceptional athletes do. It's like sometimes when I go through and I evaluate prospects for a draft, whether it be NFL or NBA, and I see, like, he's made 1 baby or he's made 2. I'm like, oh, he's already a professional any fucking way. That's +5 to me. Like, that boosts you up the draft board. Boost you up. Flunk a drug test, it might boost you up, it might knock you down. But a couple of kids? Oh, baby. Now the wedlock, that's a bonus. His Nick 64. Should AP win Comeback Player of the Year over Andrew Luck? No, fuck Adrian Peterson. And Andrew Luck really had a comeback. He missed most of the last 2 seasons with the shoulder problem. What did AP miss? Some time away from making his kids nuts bleed? Fuck him. Scott Ford, do you think the Bengals will get a new head coach next year? After 16 damn years, what makes you think Mike Brown would quit Marvin Lewis's dark ass now? And by dark ass, I mean he must love the black man in the way he gives it to him or something. I don't fucking know. Does Marvin Lewis have pictures of him fucking sheep? Does he like Marvin Lewis's D? Does he like his butt? I mean, they could be versatile. You never know. You never know. I wouldn't count on it. I would not count on it. Or Paul Brown was about greatness and excellence and championships, at least when it was his Browns team, not the Bengals. Mike Brown is about the antithesis of that. He likes mediocrity. And he must really have a man crush on Marvin Lewis. Maybe Marvin Lewis has a man crush on him. Maybe they're secretly in love and they may be married. And if they are, that's okay. There's not anything wrong with that. That's their business. It's their lives. Joseph Humphrey, the best fit for Kareem Hunt and Le'Veon Bell next season. Some people say the best fit for Kareem Hunt would be a jail cell, but let's be realistic. If AP can play in the fucking league, making his son's nuts bleed, then Kareem Hunt gets another chance because he yoked up a white bitch, okay? Best fit for him, Washington. Why not? And as far as Le'Veon Bell, you've got the Colts, the Jets, maybe the Texans. Could be some options for both of those guys. Georgian Fulia, thoughts on Anthony Miller, wide receiver 1's rookie year for Chicago. There have been flashes, there have been moments. I've been a little bit disappointed late in the year only in the fact that they seem to go away from him. Like he's an exceptional route runner. He gets open. He has great hands. He makes plays happen when he put the ball in his set hands. Get the damn ball in his hands more. And frankly, there's been a little bit of frustration with me with Trubisky. Like, Taylor Gabriel's nice, but you can find ways to get the ball to Miller too, damn it. Drake Maddox, 28. What do you think John Dorsey will do for his next head coach of the Cleveland Browns? I don't know. Based off the way the team played under him, I'm guessing Greg Williams has got to be a candidate. I would still think the favorite right now might be somebody like Mike McCarthy. They could be coming for Jim Harbaugh. Who the hell knows? Cleveland's a pretty attractive opportunity, though. So everybody that wants to be an NFL head coach is going to have an interest in that job, believe me. And they're going to have plenty of people to choose from. It's just important they find the best guy and the right guy and get the deal done. Braden Smith, do you see Jim Harbaugh leaving Michigan for any NFL job? Sure I do. I'd be stunned if he's back in Ann Arbor in 2019. I really would be. And if he was back in 2019, I would think it was poor judgment. You might say, well, Urban Meyer's not there, so maybe he'd have a chance to beat Ohio State. Nah, motherfucker would lose to Wisconsin and Iowa and like 2 other teams. Especially if it was a big game. It wouldn't matter. Vincent Ekugwan. Whatever. Most overrated team in the playoffs. Well, Vincent, that is an excellent question. Most overrated team in the playoffs. You might say the Kansas City Chiefs because of Andy Reid's history, the fact that they don't have a defense, and you look at Kansas City's history recently in the playoffs, they might be. But I don't know that people are so runaway goo-goo gaga over them. You could maybe point to the Houston Texans being a little overrated too because a lot of teams they beat this year weren't that great, but I don't know. I like their formula a little bit better than I like the Chiefs right now. Alex Saida, will the Bears acquire another QB in the draft, trade, or free agency? They may. They may still like Chase Daniel, but it's also possible that they could go and add somebody else. Courtney Centimore, what NFC team is best equipped to beat the Saints in the Dome? I think the Bears are, and I think the Cowboys are. Because those teams can play some defense. The Cowboys have beaten the Saints already once this year, and they can really run the ball. The Bears' defense is better and matches up better against the Saints, but they don't run the ball as consistently well as the Cowboys can. But I think those 2 teams are the most well-equipped to beat the Saints. Cody Martin, why doesn't Phillip Rivers have a Super Bowl and does he need one for the Hall of Fame? Well, poor Phillip Rivers had to play in that conference at a time where he had to go through Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and so on and so forth. You had those times where LT was like, nah, man, I don't want to play in this playoff game. I'm going to sit on the sideline with these twisted fallopian tubes. Does he need one for the Hall of Fame? No, I don't think so. I think getting a Super Bowl would help get him in first ballot, but I think Phillip Rivers would get into the Hall of Fame by the second or third try. I really do. He's had a long career where he's been near the top of his position. He's a Hall of Famer. Armanda, should the Jaguars take a quarterback in the draft, sign one in free agency, or trade for one? The answer unequivocally is all three. Yes. Bring in 3 quarterbacks and figure out which one's your dude. Because he ain't on your fucking roster. Most certainly isn't Blake Bortles or Cody Kessler. I'll tell you that goddamn much. Scooster, most disappointing and surprising team this season. I think the Jaguars have to go down to the most disappointing category, that's for sure. Maybe you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers and say them being on the precipice of being out of the playoffs makes them a disappointing team, and they most certainly are. Surprising team? Well, maybe for some people, disappointing too would be the 49ers, but they were overrated as bricks to begin with. Most surprising teams, for some it might be the Cowboys, but I think I have them as like a 9 or 10 win team and kind of sniffing the playoffs. For some people it's the Bears, and I had them winning the division. For others it might be the Chiefs, and they were a surprise, as I thought they were like a borderline 9-10 win playoff type of team, and they're knocking on the door, number 1 seed, home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs. I mean, that's pretty damn nice. So that's a pretty big surprise, I would say. I think for some, the Colts are a little bit of a surprise, too, because you thought maybe they were at least a year away and you didn't know what you were getting out of Andrew Luck, and they've got a chance to win in their in the playoffs Sunday. Charlie Bell, would the Texans be a good fit for Le'Veon Bell? Certainly, if they had the cap space. Zach Powers, what do you think the Lions' biggest draft needs are? Is it a corner? Is it a linebacker? Is it an edge? Is it an offensive lineman? It's yes, but probably starts off number 1 at quarterback, and you're not going to like that I said that, but it is. Quarterback. Time to really rethink things there in Detroit, I'm just saying. Kieran Chase, what would have happened if the Dolphins faced the Bears in Super Bowl 20? And take out any bias that you can. I think on the rematch, the Bears would have adjusted. They would have played more nickel. They wouldn't have been nearly as dominant as they were against the Patriots. The Patriots just a terrible matchup facing the Bears. The Bears were built to stop the run with that 46 defense and get pressure on the quarterback. And the Patriots had a combination of a between-the-tackles running game and quarterback and Tony Eason who couldn't really move. So it was a nightmare. Now, Dan Marino couldn't move, but that whole Miami offense was built differently and structured differently. I still feel like the Bears would have won. But it would have been a much more compelling Super Bowl than Super Bowl 20 was, that's for sure. Kevin Smith closes us off by asking, should the Vikings regret paying Kirk Cousins? If they don't make the playoffs this year and make a little bit of a run, they at least got to question the decision. How about that?